All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a system that's hiding in plain sight. It affects the roads you drive on, the schools your kids go to, and the hospitals we all rely on. We're talking about the world of government contracting. And, what we're about to uncover might just change the way you see your own town.
So think about it for a second. When you're driving around, you see those construction signs for public projects, right? Does it ever feel like it's always the same handful of companies doing the work? You might just think, oh, they must be the best. But what if there's a whole lot more to that story?
Well, according to the analysis we're digging into today, that pattern you're noticing, it's absolutely not a coincidence. It's actually a huge sign of a deeply rooted system that makes sure a select few always come out on top, no matter who else is trying to get the job.
And the scale of this is just, wow. The research suggests that a staggering 60 to 80% of all government tenders are consistently won by the same small circle of politically connected contractors. That's not a trend, folks. That's a system designed to work that way. And that brings us to this term, the contractor cartel. See, this isn't about fair competition. The source defines it as this exclusive club whose success has nothing to do with being the best or the cheapest. It's all about who you know and how you can rig the game from the inside.
So, the big question is, how do they actually pull it off? I mean, if there's an official bidding process, how can it be manipulated so consistently? Well, let's get into the mechanics of how this whole system really works.
This is really the heart of the matter, isn't it? The whole point of competitive bidding is to get the best value for public money, for our money. But when you can predict the winner before the bids are even in, yeah, something is fundamentally broken. And here's where you see the huge gap between how it's supposed to work and how it actually does. On paper, it's all open and fair, but in reality, the game is rigged from the start. Tender specs are written to be so specific that only one company can even qualify. Bid evaluations get tweaked, and other perfectly good bids, they get thrown out for tiny little technical reasons. It's a setup.
You can actually see the warning signs yourself. The analysis points to some huge red flags. For instance, very few companies even bother to bid on so-called open tenders because they know it's a waste of time. You see the same 3 to 5 names winning contracts everywhere: roads, schools, hospitals, you name it. And maybe the most obvious one, a contractor with a terrible track record of failures keeps getting awarded huge new projects. How does that happen?
So what happens if a smaller, honest contractor tries to challenge this? Well, according to the source, they face pressure to back off. Or even worse, they find themselves blacklisted, completely shut out of any future work. The system literally punishes anyone who tries to play fair.
Look, this isn't just some boring bureaucratic problem. This system has a real, tangible, and seriously damaging impact on every single one of us. So let's talk about the real-world cost of all this corruption.
Just look at this. The data indicates that over 70% of the projects awarded to these cartel members are riddled with major problems. We're talking huge delays, budgets that explode, and just plain shoddy work. When there's no real competition, there's absolutely no reason to do a good job.
And that translates into things we can all see and feel. Buildings left half-finished, roads that fall apart after the first monsoon, schools that aren't even safe for kids. Billions of our tax dollars just wasted. And what are we left with? Broken promises and infrastructure that fails the very communities it was supposed to serve. It's a pretty grim picture, I know, but this story doesn't have to end there. The material we're looking at isn't just about exposing a problem. It's a call to action. It lays out a clear, practical plan for how regular citizens can actually fight back and demand accountability. Okay, so here's the 4-step playbook. First, investigate. Use right-to-information laws to get your hands on the actual tender documents. Second, expose. Put all that data into a simple spreadsheet and make the pattern so obvious no one can ignore it. Third, report. Take your evidence to the media and to anti-corruption agencies. And fourth, elect. Use your vote to support candidates who are serious about cleaning this mess up.
And this quote from the source just puts it so simply. It's powerful because it shows that the first step is something literally anyone can do. It all starts with just paying attention and writing things down. The proof is sitting right there in the public record, just waiting for someone to look.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really powerful question. A system like this only survives because it operates in the shadows. but it can't stand up to the bright light of public scrutiny. So, when ordinary people like you and me decide to become the auditors, well, who do you think really holds the power then? Thanks for tuning in.